Hi everyone, I'm Dan Forrest. I'm a professional hairdresser and makeup artist, and I'm going to give you a brief summary of my Best Face Forward class today, which addresses the side effects of cancer treatment and how to overcome those so that you look like yourself. There's a lot of things that you'll want to know about during this time, and the most important thing that I've encountered is hair loss. Generally, if you're taking chemotherapy, you will lose your hair. You can ask your oncologist specifically what the chances are, but generally be prepared to lose your hair. Now that seems devastating, but there are things that we're going to show you that will help you get through this. First of all, if you lose your hair, the good thing to know is after you finish your treatment, 21 days after your last chemo, the drugs have cycled out of your system and your hair starts to grow back. Hair grows an average of a ½ inch a month. So you can figure out, like at Christmas time, how much hair you'll have. Now when it comes in, it's going to be just like baby hair, and it's generally going to be curly because it has to reform from the root. Then when it gets a little bit of length to it, go have it trimmed on the sides, and then it seems to thicken up. But just remember, it will come in curly, but it generally reverts back to its natural state. Also, if you've been coloring your hair for years, you might be surprised at the color that it comes back. Now, we request that while you're undergoing chemotherapy or radiation therapy, you don't apply any products like hair color or bleach to your scalp. That's because every single thing that your body comes in contact with is absorbed through your skin and can end up in your bloodstream, and we don't know how color works with chemotherapy drugs, so just to be safe, avoid all that. Now, wigs. You'll probably want to get a wig, although there are other options. You can wear hats, you can wear scarves, there's lots of things. So be experimental and try out some new looks for yourself. There's lots of places online. The American Cancer Society has a catalog called TLC, and they offer some really cute ideas and wigs at a very reasonable price. Now, if you decided that you're going to wear a wig, you want to get your wig generally before your hair comes out. That way you can match your hair to the wig and you'll feel more like yourself. Then later on you might get a little more adventurous and say try being a redhead for a while or a blonde. I mean, have fun with it. Not a whole lot in this process is fun, but this part you do have control over. What is a good resource for wigs? Well, there are local wig shops that you can get them, or you can order them online. The Raquel Welch wigs are very good, as are the Ava Gabor wigs, but also the TLC catalog from the American Cancer Society has some really cute wigs at really good prices. Now, I've been asked in the past, human hair wigs versus synthetic wigs. Well, the big difference is cost. Human hair wigs are more costly. The only advantage they have is that you can heat style them. With a synthetic wig, obviously you cannot do that because they're made of plastic and they'll melt. But a synthetic wig has the advantage of when you shampoo it, all the curl comes right back. Now, if you want to get your wig and take it to your stylist and have them trim it to fit your face, that works as well. Generally, we have to trim around the bangs because there's more hair in a wig that you will normally need. So just thinning it out or point cutting it will work. Now be sure you talk to your hairstylist about this and make sure that they have experience with cutting wigs, because it's kind of like Barbie's hair. Once you cut it, it doesn't come back. Now, to take care of your wig, what you want to do, if you're going to wash your wig, you want to take your basin and put lukewarm water. You don't want it too hot because it might loosen the curl in it. You don't want it too cold because it's not going to curl. So squirt your your shampoo into the basin, swish it around, and then soak your wig in that. Don't put shampoo directly to the wig because that will make it very difficult to rinse out. After it's soaked about 10 minutes, do it in clear water a couple of times, and then I take a wig and I roll it up in a towel. Obviously this isn't wet. And then you want to just squeeze it. That will get most of the water out of it. Don't wring it though, because these wigs have elastic bases, and if you stretch the base out, your wig's not going to fit very well. Which brings me to the point of how do you make a wig fit? Well, wigs do come in different sizes, but generally they're one size fits all. However, in the back of a wig at the nape of the neck, here's a couple of tabs. These are Velcro. Sometimes they're little hooks. You move them closer in to make the wig fit tighter, looser to make it feel better. And if you're really concerned about your hair flying off in a hot breeze, you can get something called fashion tape or toupee tape. Fashion tape is the double stick tape that you put garments on to hold your neckline down, and it works really well for a wig, okay? Then you take your wig, you shake it out, you put it on top of a 2-liter soda bottle. If you put it on a regular wig head like this, the air won't circulate as well and it'll take longer to dry. If you put it on a 2-liter soda pop bottle, it'll dry up beautifully. I used to say Coke bottle during these presentations until one lady raised her hand one day and asked me if a Sprite bottle was okay. Of course it was okay. To take care of these, you don't want to put a whole lot of hairspray in a wig because that's going to dull the natural shine to it. But if you do use hairspray, one way to get rid of the buildup is to put a little bit of baking soda in the water when you wash it. That's called a chelating agent, and that removes that film and that buildup. It'll make it springy again, okay? But don't be afraid of your wig. Get it, enjoy it. Now, if you're going to wear short hair, buy a short wig. There's a difference in the way long wigs and short wigs are made. If a wig this long, if somebody wanted a short cut out of it, all you could do is basically trim the length because the caps are made differently. So ask your stylist if she can help you with that, or he. And generally, if they can't, they will refer you to someone. Now, one thing that we also like to stress is when you're losing your hair in earnest, because it's a long, pitiful process. You get up every day, there's more on the pillow, it's in the drain. We suggest that you go and have your head shaved. You use a clipper with a short guard and they just take it off. Sometimes hairstylists aren't comfortable doing that. If so, get your spouse, your partner, your sister, your mom, your friend, or someone. You want to scissor cut your hair off first and then just clipper it down short as it'll go. Don't shave it bald though, because you don't want any chance of cutting yourself, because every cut that you make to your body is a chance of infection being introduced to an already compromised immune system. So we're good with wigs, and there's a couple more things that I'd like to tell you today that are very important. Your fingernails, okay? If you like to get a manicure, go get a manicure. Usually ladies use the same manicurist over and over. Make sure your manicurist knows that you're undergoing chemotherapy or radiation therapy, or any kind of cancer treatment for that matter. The big difference being you can't use any products that contain acetone or formaldehyde. These chemicals are added to nail products to make them dry more quickly. However, they have an adverse effect on the nail bed, and it can cause splitting and cracking, which is also a chance of an infection being introduced to your system. So stay away from those products. It says so in the bottle if it has them. Also, as far as nail polish removers, there is an option other than acetone. There's one called oily polish remover, and you can get that just at the drugstore. That's safe to use because it doesn't contain either one of those ingredients, and it's safe to use. If you have your nails done though, don't let them use cuticle clippers, or if you're having a pedicure, there's a tool that they call a Credo blade. And a Credo blade is like a potato peeler basically. What it does is sloughs off the dead skin. However, those are a big no-no when you're going through treatment. It's okay if they soak your feet and use a pumice stone to buff that dead skin off, because that's completely safe. Also, the reason you want to tell your manicurist is because your implements need to be kept separately. Now, all the nail salons have very stringent hygiene guidelines that they have to follow. But just to be doubly safe, take your files and such in a Ziploc bag with you and let your manicurist use that. That way you don't get a chance of picking up bugs anywhere. All manicurists I know are very comfortable once you are up front with them, and they will do whatever it takes, okay? So that's very, very important. Another thing we'd like to talk about today is skin care. Obviously, you're going to have a little bit of discoloration from your chemotherapy or your radiation therapy, especially if you're being radiated to the face. So many things will pop up that you won't even be prepared for, but you can overcome those as well, and we'll get into that with the makeup and disguising these things. But one thing that you want to remember is always, always wear sunscreen, always. Even on a cloudy day in the fall or the winter, because you can still get sunburn and your skin is going to be hypersensitive, especially if you're taking radiation therapy. Now, if you are having radiation therapy, avoid putting any creams or lotions on the areas on your face, to your face, that are being radiated. Anything that you need to put on the area that you're radiated, if it's not your face, otherwise on your body, ask your oncologist about that or your oncology nurse. Because you don't want to put like a sunscreen over an area that they're radiating, because it kind of negates the goodness of the treatment, okay? So makeup. Makeup is one of the biggest things, and makeup is a blessing. Now, you don't have to wear a lot of makeup, okay? If you're a natural makeup, no makeup look girl, That's totally cool too, because you can get away with a little concealer, powder, and lip gloss. You just want to get up and look like yourself again in the mirror. That has a huge psychological impact on people who are going through this treatment. I'm going to show you a couple of quick illustrations that I have for placement. Now, you want to make sure you have your own makeup. Don't share your cosmetics with anyone. Your mama told you that, and it's even more important now. First one is going to be where to place your blush. Blush goes right under here, under this bone right here. We've seen the lady at the supermarket with the little round circles. Don't do that. I think she learned her makeup technique at the Ringling Brothers Clown College. But after you do your blush here and here, put a dot here, here, and here, and that frames your face with color. Now for eyeliner, once you reach a certain age, I think an eye pencil is a little harsh, especially black these days, unless you're going clubbing that night, and probably that's not going to be the case. So you can actually line your eyes with your eyeshadow and a Q-tip. It gives you an automatic, soft, smoky eye look. The most important thing, though, is not to put the liner all the way to the inside corner of your eye, because that's where your tear ducts are. And if you get teary-eyed during the day and you've got makeup there, those are some ugly eye boogers. Lip liner. Lip liner is one of the things that can do amazing things. If your lips are too full, you line inside the natural lip line. If they're too thin, you line slightly outside of the natural lip line and then put your lipstick on. I use a brush, but you can use a tube of lipstick because they're shaped just like that for a reason. Also, if you want a sexy pout, once you put your lipstick on, put a little bit of lighter shade right in the middle and blot it like that, and it gives you a Marilyn Monroe type pout. And eyebrows. What happens if you lose your eyebrows? Well, unless you're taking aggressive chemotherapy, you're generally not going to lose your brows because they grow so much more slowly. Same thing with eyelashes. It takes 4 months for a healthy eyelash to grow back. So unless you're taking really aggressive chemo, those generally stick around. When you're shaping your eyebrows, use a pencil or you can use a powder. Little bitty lines, because eyebrows are made up of individual hairs. So replicate that, little bitty things. And the great thing about makeup is if you put it on and you don't like it, it washes off. It's not like getting a bad hair color that you don't like or a perm that you're unhappy with. Wash it off and start again. Put your makeup on, feel pretty, put your wig on, go out and face the day. And just remember one of the most important things, this too shall pass. You have oncologists there that will answer any single question you have. And I wish you the best during your treatment. And remember, put your best face forward.